So the first thing we're going to start on is I want you to think about this, okay? And you may be surprised by what I say here. So the first thing is not to set a to-do list. Okay, some of you are like, what? I thought you said set goals and to do what? Okay, so the first tip is not to set a to-do list. The first thing is to set a who do I want to become list by the end of 2024. So I'm sharing you my personal secrets and the things I've written in my books and the goals that I've set, okay? My secret, one of the secrets is not what do I want to do? It's who do I want to become? This is extremely important, okay? Because transformative change occurs not because of changed behavior, but changing the core of who you are. Okay, I think a lot of people focus on external changes, which is important, don't get me wrong, but they forget that actually true change comes from within yourself, okay, from within the core of who you are. So I asked myself, January 1st, 2024, who do I want to become by the end of 2024? And this was really important because I listed character qualities that I want to become instead of a to-do list. And of course, from that character qualities, eventually I set out some things which I'll talk about. Okay. This is really important because this is something I strongly believe and I've learned over the years. If for those of you who don't know, I've been in the personal development space for over 10 years now. I have personal life mentors and life coaches and mentors in my life who speak into my life. So I've been doing this for 10 years. Okay. So this is what I believe. People who change their actions but do not change the core of who they are, their actions are short-lived, and under pressure and stress, they will go back to their old habits. So the focus must be on internal growth, then external growth as the foundation of your change. If you agree, give me some hearts, give me some emojis, because most people won't usually talk about this, but I think it's extremely important. Your transformative change is about changing yourself from the inside out. So here's just like a small example, okay? So you go from not just doing, but becoming. Okay, so there's many, and I'm not going to share all my goals right now because there were many pages I wrote. Okay, but one of the things I said I wanted to do is I want to be more thoughtful. And I'm I am a very like genuine person, but I'm busy a lot of times. But I wrote, I want to be a more thoughtful person by the end of 2024. So I want to study my mentors. I want to study the people around me. What do they like? What do they not like? And how can I serve them better? Because then I can, put in action the way I can serve each person better because I want to become that person by the end of the year. Right. So you can see the actions follow from who I want to become. Right. And there's more. There's definitely more. Clarice is far from perfect. And those who know me personally, like, yeah, lots to work on. So I have things that I do want to become. And then my actions will follow from there. And thank you for the hearts. I say amen. And I see lots of hearts coming in. Thank you, Delcia, Jennifer, and Monica. So we say fitness. Okay. So a lot of you follow me for fitness. If you want to become a more disciplined and consistent person, that's the quality you want to embrace, right? And then from there, you're going to set actions into like, well, what will help me become more consistent and a disciplined person? Okay, so things to think about. I'm not going to go into examples for that because it's going to tie into the rest of my talk here. But before I go into the rest of this, I would like everyone who is listening to tell me maybe one quality you hope to become by the end of 2024. Tell me one thing you want to become by the end of 2024. Okay, you might have to think about it a little bit, but some of you might know. Maybe some of you do want to work on certain character-based qualities of yourself, right? Hi, Shelly, good for you to join. Pam, I need to be consistent. So consistent is a character quality you want to develop. Awesome, awesome. And this next point that I'm going to talk about is going to help you now put that more into action. Okay, and thank you for participating, Pam. So number two, So once you set your character qualities and who you want to become, then you want to go into action plan. So if you're not taking notes right now, those of you who follow me know you usually want a notebook when you are listening to me. Okay, so it's like action plan. So going from who you want to become, then you set an action plan. So notice that I didn't say, these are my goals, and this is just what I want to do. Notice that I said action plan. Okay, so because there's a big difference between I want to do 3 pull-ups by the end of the year, which is a good goal. I know a lot of women I coach want to do pull-ups, and it's a goal for you. But that's just like, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to eat better. I want to do full push-ups, right? Those are good goals, but they are not action plans. Okay, very big differences. Okay, we're going to talk about this right away. So I see Courtney says discipline, I need some. And Jennifer, I want to become more forgiving of other drivers. Yes, Jennifer, thank you for being so transparent. Yes, she always shares, she gets mad at other drivers on the road. But Jennifer, I appreciate that. That's a character growth quality, right? So all right, so an action plan is not just what I do, but how do I do it? It's a step-by-step action plan of how you are going to implement your goals. So sometimes the goals you set are going to be so large. You know, if it's your financial like freedom, or you want to get completely debt free, or you want to do these massive things, they're so big that you can kind of get lost in that goal. Like you set it, but then it's like, how do you even go about doing it? And then soon you forget about it. It sits on your piece of paper, buried by other pieces of paper, right? So it's very key that you set action plans that show you what to do kind of 1 to 2 months ahead. Okay. 1 to 2 months ahead is probably as far as you can kind of look at it. And then you're going to have to evaluate and reset a lot of those goals for yourself 2 months from now. Why? Because things are going to change. There's going to different things that start to appear, and different life things, right? And so, Lisa, gain confidence. Yes, Lisa. Yeah. And I think you're on a path. You're on a personal development journey, which I love. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Kalihi. Kalihi. That's a cool name. That's a really cool name. So like I said, you want to set it only about a month to 2 months ahead. Not to say you can't set a big goal for the end of the year, but in terms of action plan, don't try to sit there to do 12 months, because it'll be impossible, and most likely your plans will change over the months, right? Speaking from experience, you only want a short-term action plan, because you're going to have to reevaluate it, okay? And what you need to ask yourself, okay? So if you are doing an action plan for yourself, you need to ask yourself a few questions. And I like to use the 5 W's, okay? The 5 W's. Who, what, where, when, why. Yes? Are we back in school? Did you know Clarice was a school teacher before? Some of you do know that. Who, what, where, when, why, okay? So one of the first questions I do when I am setting goals for myself, okay, and then my action plan, my first question to myself is, who is going to help me succeed towards my goal? Who is further along in a path and has the life or results of what I desire and is willing to help me? That is one of my really crucial questions. And this was taught to me 10 years ago when I got into the personal development space, because I was told that, yes, you need good audios, you need good books. Those are awesome. But nothing replaces a relationship of someone who knows you and can help you in those nuances of your personality, of your tendencies, and can help you along your path. And so I have always looked at who is going to help me in my personal life, life mentors and coaches. In my fitness, who are the fitness coaches who can get me to my fitness goals? In nutrition, who can teach me in nutrition? In business, who can teach me to elevate my business? I always ask myself, who. So if you're taking notes right now, I want you to put who is going to help you get to your goals. Number two, where. Where are you going to implement your new action plan? For some, it's easy. Your gym, great. Maybe you don't have a gym membership, so you have to ask yourself, you say you want to be super fit. What's going to happen? Where is this going to happen? So you have to ask yourself, do you have a space where you are going to train? Do you have a home gym? And for some, it might be different. Like if you're trying to become a super creative person, do you have a creative working space? So where is this going to happen? For me too, I love training dance. It's like, where will I train and train more of my own dancing, that type of thing, right? So who, where, when. When are you going to actually implement your new goals and action plan? When? When in your day, when in your schedule, when in your week? Because if you don't schedule it, it will not be done. Okay, you're not just going to out of blue suddenly feel like going to the gym. You're not just out of the blue going to feel like meal prep. Ask yourself, when are you going to actually do this? You need to put it down on paper. No, do not put it in your brain. Put it on paper. One of my great mentors, he says you need to outsource the things you want to do onto a piece of paper, because if you solely rely on memory, your memory will default to your old habits. Okay, so remember, these are people who are really successful, have created incredible success. My mentors are multi-millionaires. They speak about these success principles because they know, like, if you want to create great success in your life, do not put it in just your brain. Write it down. Okay. How many of you guys actually write down your goals? Actually write things down, right? So who, where, when, what. So the what is, what first actions are you going to take right now to get your goals started? What are some actions you're doing? Phyllis says, I just saw it, Phyllis, to survive FFF. That's awesome. Phyllis, you're going to more than survive FFF. I've seen how you work in the 21-day program. You have a great work ethic and you have beautiful Shone guiding you. So you are going to do amazing, Phyllis. I know it. Sherry says, I'm a pen and paper gal. Yes, exactly. You totally are. And I see Carmen, Audrey, Kathy, and Nicole jumped in as well. Awesome. So what are some first actions you're going to take? So why do I say this is because we set a goal and we sometimes it feels good to put those goals down on paper, but you don't actually do a first action. You must put a first action, because the first action creates momentum in your life. And if you ever read books, I can't remember if it's called The Big Mo, but John Maxwell has a great book on momentum, and it's all about creating momentum in your life. And you need that first action. So I'm going to give you some examples. For me, I've already contacted a few of my coaches to set up the schedule for my training. So I'm already I'm on that. I've looked up one of my older coaches, and I'm potentially planning to go back to him because I really like the way he taught on certain things. So I'm already having plans to contact that coach. And then I've also just purchased 3 new books, and 3 new books in regards to the values of what I want to become and who I want to become, that I know is going to help me in this year. So those are just some small examples of what action I've already taken in the first 3 days of January to make things happen, right? So Monica says, I have a health and wellness agenda. Awesome, Monica. Awesome. And so ask yourself, what are you doing that is helping you take that first action? And for some of you, you are ahead of the game. Like the ones who joined the program at the end of the year, or people who are already on a program, you have a bit of an action plan already. But you could maybe still set some goals for what you ultimately, who you want to become by the end of the year, and then what some of those actions can be, or what you want to discuss with your coach or discuss with me. What is it that you want me to help you with to get to the end of the year goal, right? Because Clarice can't just by default imagine what your goal is. You have to communicate that to your coach, right? I know Lisa, we just chatted just on her life mentoring side of, you have to tell your coach. Like when I approach my coaches, I tell them, this is what I want. This is what I want to accomplish this year, and then see how they will help me, right? So yeah, hi, Debbie, good to see you. And Debbie, one of our angels, just popped on in. And the last W, why? So answer the question for yourself for some of your goals and the action plans you're putting in place. Why is this goal important to you? Write it down because this particular question of why is going to be so important for you when life hits you hard. Some of you, 2023 hit you hard. For some of you, life is going to hit you hard in 2024. We never know what life will bring to us. But when life hits you hard, you have to know, why do you do what you do? Why are you in a health and fitness program? Why are you wanting to do this? Why are you taking so much time to learn about nutrition? You need to write down, why is this important for you? Because it will undergird you when life is really hard, and you get stressed out during the year. Okay. So Janet says, my action plan is to keep following me. Awesome. Of following this group. Awesome, Janet. That's so awesome. So in terms of action plan, for those of you who are listening, how many of you believe you need to sit down to do an action plan? If you believe you actually need to sit down to do an action plan, I want you to put action plan below. Okay. And this is just you declare, we call it a declaration. When you declare that I am going to do this, you're more likely to do it because you put it on a public accountability where everybody sees you. And then suddenly you're like, oh, I need to like live up to this, which is good. It's a good thing, right? Pam says it was very hard. So 2023 was really hard, Pam, but 2024, we hope for a better year, but still got to put those action plans in place, right? Melanie, action plan. And Melanie, we're going to help you. I know you return on the 11th. She's just vacationing right now, but we will get you onto an action plan as well, Melanie. But still should set your own goals as well. Delcia, Barbara, Monica, awesome. Thank you for all contributing. Awesome, awesome. All right, number 3. Okay, I really like this one. I think you guys will like this one. All right, third tip for the year. Focus on a successful week. Okay, so one of the biggest downfalls for most people I see setting goals is that they set too many to-dos, and then it becomes all jumbled and you become overwhelmed. Especially we are women. We do so many to-dos, we wear so many hats, and there's so many things on our calendar and the responsibilities we have to do that we get really overwhelmed. So instead of, just like all these to-dos and all these goals, you still need an action plan, but I want you to focus on a successful week. So this means work on breaking down your goals into bite-sized chunks that you can do every single week and even every single day. So, do you know what having a successful year actually is? So, a successful year is actually 52 successful weeks, plus or minus a few weeks, and it's 365 successful days, plus or minus a few days. So why do I say that? Is because when we truly understand that when you see someone create great success at the end of the year in their goals, it was because they did those daily things or those weekly things and focused on having successful weeks or successful days. They broke it down. It wasn't like, I just have to suddenly be successful. This is very important because even as a coach, for all my clients I coach, a lot of you come into my programs and you've seen some of my clients have amazing results, dropping their belly, dropping 30, 40 inches. And 3 weeks go by, you're like, I'm not where I want to be yet. And then Clarice, like I know Sherry on here and a few others will say, you've been doing 3, 4 weeks. Like, remember, celebrate every small win. It's the small wins that become big wins in the end. And we often forget that because we see the big wins at the end. And when we can actually break it down, when we look at this year ahead and we go, actually, I just need to have a successful day today and a successful week. When you break it down into small bite-sized chunks, you add it up over the year, then you're going to have a very successful year. Yes. So who believes they will have a very successful 2024? You proclaim it below. Say successful 2024. Proclaim it below. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why I said a successful year is 52 successful weeks plus or minus a few weeks. And it's 365 successful days, plus or minus a few days. The reason why I said that is because you and I know that in a year, you're not always going to have perfect weeks. You're not always going to have amazing days. We all know that. And I think it's just important to acknowledge that we're going to face some down moments in the year, but it is overall, if you can have more successful weeks than less and more successful days than less, then you would have had a very successful year, right? Progress over perfection, just like my video I said at the gym that I posted. Progress over perfection. And that is the mindset that you want to have moving into 2024. Yay, I see lots of successful 2024 with hearts from Jennifer. Melanie, awesome. Yes, and Melanie, you're starting a year strong with the program. So when you come back on the 11th, Pam, yes, Delcia, Vivian, yes, Debbie, love the analogy. Awesome, Debbie. Yes, and Debbie, we have a goal to get her to her Canadian Ballroom Championship in August. I forget, Debbie, but yes, she has a goal. Hi, Yvette, good to see you. Awesome. And so in implementation, so this is how you'll notice Clarice works, okay? Is I will say mindset and principles for you to think about, and then I always say how you implement it, because a lot of people miss this step. It's like, these philosophies are so great, Clarice, but how do you implement it, right? So the implementation is, if you really want to understand if you've had a successful week, you must schedule at the end of your week about 15, 20 minutes, some people 30 minutes of time to evaluate your week. Weekly evaluation or reflection is extremely important to the progress of your year. Okay, this was something I learned a long time ago from my mentors, and they're uber successful, incredibly in every area of their life, is every week you sit down to evaluate and reflect on how was your week? Was it a successful week? What can you do better? What can you improve on? Okay, if you do this, you will be ahead of most other people in life, because most people actually go on autopilot. That's what I'll tell you. Most people are autopilot people. They just go, boo, they just go. Life gets in the way and so busy and this thing and that thing, and they don't stop to truly reflect. I'm teaching you some of my secrets here. So focus, sit down at the end of every week and reflect. Did you have a successful week?